Choose your nightmare. Water rising behind you. Air that slowly shuts your body down. A dive so deep, your hands won't stop shaking. Or a tunnel so tight, you can't turn around. These are 4 real cave deaths, and the turning point in each one is brutal. In the heart of Thailand's lush Khao National Park lies Nam Talu Cave, a place of striking natural beauty and treacherous waters. On October 13th, 2007, a group of 9 people, 6 tourists, including Swiss nationals, a 10-year-old German boy, a teenage girl from the UK, and 2 Thai guides, ventured into its depths. The cave is known for winding passages, shallow streams, and dazzling rock formations. During the dry season, such tours are considered safe and even serene. But this was the rainy season, and the danger was invisible. The day started calmly. At the entrance, the weather appeared stable, no rain had fallen that morning, and conditions seemed ideal. Yet upstream, heavy rainfall had already begun, sending water through the cave's hidden drainage system. Nam Talu's tunnels, narrow and winding, leave little margin for error when nature turns violent. As the group navigated a stream passage deeper inside, water began to rise slowly, a warning that went largely unnoticed. Moments later, a sudden flash flood surged through the tunnel. Within minutes, the passages were completely submerged, trapping the group. Panic set in. One guide shouted for everyone to climb toward higher ground. Some reached small ledges, but most were swept away by the torrent. In mere minutes, the cave turned into a watery tomb. 8 of the 9 inside drowned. The sole survivor, the British teenager, managed to cling to a narrow ledge, spending over 16 harrowing hours awaiting rescue. The tragedy prompted immediate action. Nam Talu was closed, and authorities imposed seasonal restrictions, barring visitors from June to November. Warning signs were posted, and tour operators were instructed to respect the closure. For years, the rules held, mostly, but not always. Nearly 2 decades later, on August 6, 2024, history nearly repeated itself. Despite official closure, 22 tourists and 2 guides entered the cave. The morning seemed clear, yet rain from the previous night had already filled upstream channels. As the group neared the exit in the afternoon, another flash flood struck. Rescue teams arrived quickly, saving all but 1 guide, a 37-year-old man who was swept away while helping others. His body was recovered hours later. Investigators confirmed the cave had been off-limits. The operator faced legal consequences, and safety measures were reinforced. Still, the lure of Nam Talu continues to tempt thrill seekers. Its floods are sudden, unforgiving, and deadly. A chilling reminder that some disasters are tragically avoidable. Northern Norway is home to some of the most unforgiving underwater caves in Europe. And on February 6, 2014, 5 Finnish cave divers entered one of its deadliest systems, Plutoigrata, also known as Jordbrugrata. Their goal was ambitious: navigate a submerged passage over 130 meters deep, push through a network of freezing, narrow tunnels, and surface in a distant chamber on the far side of the mountain. This was not a casual dive. It demanded absolute precision, perfect coordination, and nerves of steel. Each diver carried a closed-circuit rebreather, a high-tech system designed to recycle air for prolonged deep dives. Though experienced, the divers knew the risks: cold, near-zero visibility, claustrophobic passages, and currents that could disorient even the most skilled explorers. At first, the dive went according to plan. Moving in a staggered formation along a fixed guideline, the team carefully threaded through the tunnels, mindful of every breath, every movement. Then disaster struck. About 110 meters deep, in a tight, constricted section of the cave, one diver, Jari, became wedged between 2 rock walls. The narrow space left no room for maneuvering. His rebreather started malfunctioning. Another diver, Patrick, attempted to free him, but the space was too tight. Silt from the cave floor turned the water into a thick, blinding cloud. Panic began to rise. Jari's breathing grew erratic, and his regulator slipped from his mouth. Patrick tried desperately to help, but the impossible choice became clear: stay and risk both their lives, or leave and get help. Patrick made the gut-wrenching decision to retreat. Back at the surface, the remaining divers realized 2 team members were missing. Norwegian authorities quickly closed the cave, deeming it too dangerous to attempt a rescue. Weeks later, a team of Finnish divers, friends of the deceased, returned against orders. Over 100 hours of painstaking effort, they navigated the treacherous passages, inching through total darkness to recover Jari and the second diver, believed to have died trying to help. The bodies were carefully secured and brought to the surface, a solemn victory in an otherwise tragic story. The operation, fraught with danger, became the subject of the 2016 documentary Diving into the Unknown. Pluraj Grata had claimed lives not through recklessness, but through the unforgiving precision of nature and the narrow margins of human endurance. This disaster serves as a chilling reminder. In the world of extreme cave diving, preparation and experience can only take you so far. One misstep, one unlucky turn, and the depths are merciless. Deep in Mexico lies Zacatón, the world's deepest water-filled sinkhole, a vertical chasm plunging over 1,000 feet into darkness. On April 6, 1994, legendary cave diver Shek Exley set out to conquer its depths, aiming to break a new record. Exley was no stranger to danger. His passion for extreme diving began in childhood, after the tragic loss of his brother during a deep dive. Yet this challenge pushed the limits of human endurance even further. Accompanied by fellow diver Jim Bowden, Exley meticulously prepared for the descent. Both men understood the risks. Beyond 300 feet, nitrogen narcosis and high-pressure nervous syndrome, HPNS, could distort vision, impair judgment, and induce uncontrollable trembling. They descended into Zacatón's vertical water column, aware that one mistake at such depth could be fatal. The early stages went smoothly. The divers moved cautiously, switching tanks at planned intervals, monitoring air supply, and checking equipment. But at around 800 feet, trouble began. Bowden noticed his hands shaking, a clear HPNS warning. At 900 feet, he discovered his air supply was critically low, leaving him with just enough to attempt a perilous ascent. Exley, however, faced even greater peril. At 880 feet, his vision blurred and his body trembled uncontrollably. HPNS combined with nitrogen narcosis clouded his thinking. Desperate, he wrapped his descent line around his arms, trying to stabilize himself, but symptoms worsened. Switching tanks became a dangerous necessity, and panic began to set in. Disoriented and unable to move effectively, Exley's situation rapidly deteriorated. Bowden, ascending to safety, saw evidence of Exley's struggle, unused tanks dangling from the descent line, but assumed his friend was still deep below. On the surface, the support team noticed bubbles from only one diver, realizing something had gone terribly wrong. Despite their efforts, Exley did not return. Hours later, a recovery operation retrieved his lifeless body from the sinkhole. Bowden miraculously survived, reaching 915 feet, setting a world record for open-circuit diving, and returning with a story of extraordinary courage and tragedy. Exley's fatal dive became a somber testament to the extreme risks of deep water exploration. Zacatón remains a haunting reminder. Even the most skilled divers, equipped with knowledge and preparation, are vulnerable in nature's most extreme arenas. The line between triumph and disaster is razor thin, and the depths claim those who dare to challenge them. On August 18, 2005, 5 friends approached a cave, ominously nicknamed the Cave of Death. Their curiosity outweighed caution as they arrived at the entrance shortly after 3 a.m. One of the group stayed behind, uneasy about the risks, while the other 4 ventured inside. From the very first steps, the cave tested their resolve. The explorers encountered a small pool of water, forcing them to crawl and wade through the chill. Soon, they reached a fork in the path and chose the left tunnel, which led to another shallow pool. At first, it seemed manageable, but the pool concealed a treacherous underwater passage. This tunnel was narrow, just 3 to 4 feet wide, and required total submersion for nearly 15 feet. Only one person could pass at a time, and the darkness magnified every hazard. The friends pushed forward, each emerging into a chamber with barely 3 feet of airspace above the water. They thought they had cleared the worst of it, but an even deadlier danger awaited: the air itself. This section of the cave contained bad air, a lethal mixture of low oxygen and high carbon dioxide. It quickly sapped their strength, disoriented them, and triggered panic. Physical movement became sluggish, decision-making faltered, and breath-holding became increasingly perilous. When they tried to retreat, the situation turned catastrophic. The first friend attempted to navigate back through the submerged tunnel, but ran out of air, trapped by the narrow confines. The second went in to help, only to become stuck as well. One by one, all 4 were caught in the tunnel, unable to escape. Each attempt to rescue a companion only added another victim. Meanwhile, the friend outside grew alarmed at the silence and lack of light. Venturing in briefly, he realized the severity of the situation and called for help. Police and rescue teams arrived, pumping oxygen into the cave and attempting to drain water, but it was too late. The four friends had perished in the claustrophobic, oxygen-starved passages. The authorities eventually sealed Gollum's cave with cement, a permanent reminder of the lethal combination of confined spaces, water, and toxic air. What began as an adventurous exploration ended in tragedy, illustrating one of the most harrowing lessons of caving. Curiosity can be deadly when the natural environment becomes an invisible enemy. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more stories like these, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching and stay safe out there.